Evening, friends. Welcome to our Thursday night Fireside Chat. I hope that you're staying safe and you're feeling encouraged. I hope that you're able to get outside a little bit today with warmer air. And friends, I just want to make sure you are encouraged as much as things sort of, as we've said, kind of day by day, moment by moment, things are sort of changing, and it feels like, I think I heard in the governor's press conference this afternoon, right, that we're sort of on the upward slide of the curve, and we're still hoping to flatten that out. But the Lord is still good. The Lord is still ruling and reigning. I wanted to give you a little bit of an update about some things happening around Journey and some ways maybe you can be participating with us. I've got some encouragement from the Word and a reminder about maybe what is coming on Sunday. First of all, I want to say this. We are continuing to be a drop-off spot for those who are looking for ways to love and care well for their neighbors and friends and people even here around our Journey family. And so from 5 to 7 this evening, if folks want to stop by the building, you're welcome to drop off food. There's a list. If you go back on the Facebook page, there was a piece of information put out by the Neighborhood Bridges Bountiful Backpack folks. Essentially, if you've got a stable food, peanut butter, pasta, cereal, spaghetti sauce, any of that kind of stuff that can kind of go and sit on a shelf and get distributed out, we would love to collect that. If you've got something else and have a question, feel free to ask me, and I'll let you know if we can use that. It's exciting to be a part of that. I know I've seen some pictures and some updates and some reports, and food's going out and food's getting passed out and bags are getting packed over the weekend. I think there's another distribution coming on Monday. And Megan Truax, who's the school nurse through Neighborhood Bridges, that organization is just knocking it out of the park. They're really doing a great job, and we appreciate them very much. We, around here as well, there are some folks that we know have some needs, and so we've been meeting those. I was at Costco this morning, purchasing some of that same kind of stuff, filling up a fridge and some cupboards for a family that was in need. If you want to participate with us and you're like, I don't know if I can get out, I don't know if I can, get to the store, and there's limits on how much we can buy, all that kind of stuff that's going on. We've set up a special donation fund inside of Journey's online giving, just called Benevolence, which is the fancy way of saying we're just making sure that people have their needs met. And so not only can you, if you are a part of the Journey family, we're inviting you and encouraging you to go in and set up your giving that way, since we're not going to be meeting physically. But if you're interested in partnering with us and making sure that people have their needs met, you can give through our Benevolence Fund. It's all online, and it gives us access to those resources as things come up. And we anticipate that there will be more coming up over the next days and week. If you are interested, that is just on our website, Journey Fellowship. That's one word, all lowercase, journeyfellowship.co/giving, Giving. And when you get there, it's really simple. Our back-end system is very simple to get an online giving account set up. If you're a part of the Journey family and you want to give in a recurring way, you can do that. If you want to do a one-time gift, you can do that. If you want to give to our Benevolence Fund, 100% of those dollars is going to go right back out to help those who are in need, and as we help meet those things that are taking place at this time. Our community groups, those that know, we have smaller groups that we call community groups here at Journey that have been meeting. And so as things began to shift and it began to become very clear and apparent that we weren't going to be able to meet with one another physically, we began to say that, sorry, my phone's acting weird there, don't mind the technical reach, but we began to say, how can we want to keep our contact, we want to keep loving one another well. And so I know that most of the groups have been setting up things, whether that was a Zoom call or a Facebook chat or those kinds of things, so that we can keep in contact with one another. It's done that with a leadership group that I've got. My Acts 29 friends, brothers, leadership have been calling us together. It's a good way to sort of virtually gather. But even in the midst of that, what I've found is it's weird to not sort of see and touch and hear people. That there's this thing that we're missing. And it's got me thinking, and it got me sort of wondering what that is that's going on. I had a friend who had a post on his Facebook page about it. And I don't think it's a mistake that in 1 John chapter 4 and 2 John chapter 1, the Apostle John, who again walked with Jesus, he was one of his very best, if not his best friend. So he had sat with him, right? He had hugged him. He had, arm wrestled him. Who knows what they were doing for physical activity in the first century, but they were participants in life together. And so John says this. He says, those who confess Jesus are those who confess that he came in the flesh. And it's not a mistake. It's not an accident, right? God could have done salvation and redemption in a multitude of ways. But what he did was Jesus came and took on flesh, body. And so as we think about that, there's something, I think, just special. There's something unique. There's something powerful in the physical presence. Think about it. He created you and I with physical bodies. He created Jesus, right? Created isn't the right word, but Jesus came and took on flesh in a body. When we take the ordinances, right, whether we do that with communion and we're eating bread and drinking wine, we're consuming it into our body. When we're doing baptism, we put somebody in a tub of water and we put them all the way under with their body. Like when Jesus was resurrected, he had a resurrection body. When we are in the end, right, we're going to get new bodies. There's this thing that is taking place that God connects himself to the physical presence to the body. And so it's, I think, no wonder that we're missing it. I think there's no wonder that there's a part of us that is starting to feel like, boy, I need to be around these people. And I want to participate. I want to, don't mind me getting multiple phone calls during my FaceTime Live. We want to be in physical presence. And it's one of the reasons that we, as journey groups, have been trying to find ways, whether, again, those are Zoom calls. Our group, the Funston community group, met last night through a Facebook video conference, and there was something really sweet just getting to hear one another's voice. It's not the same as being in the same room. It's not the same as getting to hug somebody or getting to hold a hand while we're praying or do any of that kind of stuff. But to just hear their voice with our ears, it triggered some of that physical stuff. By the time we were done, I'm like, I know what I'm talking about tomorrow because I just think we need it and we want it. And so I want to remind you of these couple of things. If Jesus came in flesh and we are longing for those connections, can you find a way to tangibly, physically love and care for someone else? And so the thing I thought was, maybe you should send a letter, an old school snail mail letter. Write it down so they've got something physical. Maybe you want to send them something. Maybe you want to drop something off on somebody's porch. Do something that goes, I'm going to do a physical thing to love my friends and my neighbors and my church body and the person that I know that's in need. Friends, we love you. I hope these times are encouraging to you. Find a way to love someone tangibly in the next 24 hours. I'll check back in tomorrow evening. Have a great night.